I'm just ready to go out there and showcase our chemistry that we got. You know, we got a couple new guys and things been happening fast. You know, we OTAs and camp. Now it's time to go against another color jersey. And I'm excited to go out there and build our identity.
All right, Marvin Jackson back here with Lake Lewis, USA Today Sports Media Group, and Redskins alum and still Redskin always, right? Brian Mitchell. Talk about this camp so far from what you're seeing.
Well, I'm seeing a lot more business-like mindset. It's not about all of the, the hype and the mumbo jumbo and the all-ins for week this and families, and it's about football. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people felt that thought from the beginning it was boring, and boring is Patriot-like. Boring is Green Bay Panthers-like and Steelers-like and Baltimore Ravens-like, where they win Super Bowls. And I think if it can come to that, everybody's going to be happy that was boring.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody said it. This camp seems a little bit different this year. Maybe without RG3, maybe, with, not, it's like, really, like you said, boring.
It's not all about him. I mean, I think even the front office and the way that this team came about, it was always about marketing more than about football. Exactly. And Scott McCloughan has come in and made the mindset of, like Joe Gibbs did. I remember Joe Gibbs had called the meeting with everybody in the building and said, the players are happy, we all going to be happy at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And it was more focused on the guys, what they were doing on the football field, and that's what they're doing now. It got to the point where everything was just a marketing machine. But I've always felt the way you market, win football games. And everybody will spend more money and they'll support you more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. These guys are getting better because there's no drama out there. And they're also, the camaraderie seems high on both sides of the ball. You see, Norman and Deshaun, they can only get better from this every day. And they're not bickering with each other. One stops the other or Deshaun scores. They're actually high-fiving or low-fiving each other. That's what you want to see, and that goes to show you that they're trying to get better.
And then you take it back to Art Monk against Darryl Green, Art Monk against Gary Clark, Monty Coleman against Ernest Biner. When you begin to go back into those days, or Ricky Sanders and Martin Mayhew, when you're going against guys every day that you see as one of the best in the division, like Josh Norman going against Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun's going to win on one-on-one drills most of the time. But it's going to make Josh better. He's going to better understand things. I talked to Breland earlier today. He said the scouting report on Deshaun Jackson is you better get back. But when you get back, then he's going to get you underneath. Right. So he makes you a much better corner because now you got to begin to really read every little tip that he's trying to give you. And I think when I look at it, I look at this team, and Scott has changed the look of the team because guys look more athletic. They look more in shape.
Bigger.
And and then when I was playing, we went against the Capitol defense was here in D.C. I went to Philadelphia. I think Jim Johnson had one of the best defensive corps out there. Going against Michael Strahan, when you got on the football field, it was easy.
How do you see the chemistry of this team as far as the young guys and the veterans? Do you see that working well?
What I see is a bunch of young guys who's come in, and unlike a lot of people when I was playing, they don't think they know everything. They're willing to ask. And the veterans seem to be more like the veterans were when I came in, where they're willing to help. Because your team is not as good as the first 22. Yeah. It's as good as from 40 to 53. The weakest link make your team better than the other team's weakest link. And I think I see guys willing to help. And like I talked to Chris Thompson just a little early, he said everybody seems to be helping everybody, because now it's not about, and Lake can tell you, it was a lot of little factions on the team that believed in their own thing. Right now it's all about the Redskins winning, not just one group being good or not.
We were just talking about nemesis, within the team as far as, competitive. Mm-hmm. When you were playing, who was like saying, I'm going to get Brian today? Who were the guys?
I'm sure I pissed everybody off, I talk trash all day, but for me, it was beating Monty Coleman for the first time because the guy was probably the most balanced, strongest, fastest, in shape, knowledgeable linebacker I ever seen, and I had never beaten him in one-on-one drills. And the day when I finally beat him, I felt like I had arrived because Coach Don Bro told me, he's the best in the league. So I'm like, okay, if I can beat the best, I can beat the rest. And Monty made me work, dude. If he got a fingertip on, he'll push you to the ground. He was that strong.
Yeah. And he still looks good too. Well,
Man,
you do too.
Dude at 36, dude at 30, at 251 pounds, 36 inch waist.
Yeah.
I don't have that waist.
I tell you. So what kind of prediction are you giving for this
You know
team?
what? I don't like predictions. I look at the team. They were 9-7 last year, and I think they're a better team. Although they have a tougher schedule, I expect them to be better because they have better talent. And you know, people are like, well, they got a tough schedule. You shouldn't. No, I don't care about what everybody else does. I care about this team improving. I look at it. I think they can go 10-6, but everything has to work out for them. Yeah. They can't just go out there and think people are gonna roll over for them. They won the NFC East last year, so people are gonna want to knock them off. So I can see 10-6, but my decisions start really getting honed in after Thursday when they go against somebody else. And I want to see the starters in the second team against somebody else. You know, like a lot of times you can see they're winning. Then at the end of the game, you put in the 4th, 5th string guys who are going to be around for the most part, and they may lose the game. So I'm not caring about that. I want to see what the first and second team does. And if they go out and play well, then I can start to really believe in the team that I've been seeing.
And Kirk Cousins.
I like Kirk.
Confident.
You know, the reason I like him so much is just like Josh Norman. You look at both of those guys, and you're around the team more than me. If they aren't successful, it's not because they're not trying.
Right.
They study, they work extra, they do everything they're supposed to be
still
great.
Out there now.
Yeah, it's fun.
And that's every day.
You can, if you're going to put in all of that work, you're going to either be damn good or exceptional. I'm not going to say you're going to be bad because when you put that much work in, you have to be good.
Yes. You know, I wanted to ask you real quick. In 6 years I've been covering this team, I've been telling everyone there's no question this is the most talent that they've had.
Yeah.
But the thing about this team that I think could make them really good is they have a lot of young players.
True.
And when you have these kind of young players that had the success they had last year, they don't know the other side of it.
There you go.
So you know, now they feel like they have to win. That's the only thing they know. You look at a Jamison Crowder, who we know how great Deshaun is. Right. Jamison Crowder is not that far behind as far as being an elite caliber slot receiver. This is a guy that's only going in his second year. So when you see these young guys, do you think that that's what's going to really put them over the?
I think it will because, you know, I think when the young guys, like you said, they came in and they saw success. They're not hearing about the years of failure.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always felt a team has had a delicate balance. Starters, older players, and then you got the younger guys who can go out and help you out right now. Right. And you have that. You know, you look at everyone is talking about Fuller. He has history. His family has been in this league. Then you look at Crowder, the success he had, and some of their top players. Reed is not very old.
Right.
You know, Matt Jones isn't very old. Chris Thompson, not very. He's an old guy in the running back room, but he's not old.
25.
And I think when you look at that type of thing, that youthful enthusiasm make those veteran guys stay younger. Because what you start to see is this team is getting better, and I'm getting older. I better stay on top of my game before one of the young guys move me out. And I think that's my Super Bowl team. We had guys like Art Monk and Darryl Green and Monty and all those guys had been around, but they also had myself and Andre Collins. We were stepping up where we made them have to go a little bit harder because, you know, I wasn't the guy going to step in and say, oh, they started, they're going to keep their job. I wanted to work. And I think the young guys coming in now think the same way.
But as a veteran player, aren't you more inclined to help a young guy that you see has incredible talent?
That's it.
Yeah.
See, Ernest Biner, and I tell this story to everybody, Ernest saw something in me, and he didn't see it in my roommate that I was roommates with. And every day he said, I need to talk to you, come by my house. And I go by his house, and I hang out, and he never talked to me about anything. And then one day he just told me, he said, man, look, you got a good future in front of you. You know, you can't mess it up hanging out with certain people. This guy doesn't see it like you. So just like my teacher in 9th grade would not let me go out to recess, she was my cousin. She kept me in saying she wanted me to do something, and for like 2 weeks I did nothing.
Keep you out of
And
trouble.
yeah, so now I know what they were doing. And when someone sees that in you, that veteran's going to be willing to help you long as you're willing to receive the help. So, and I see a lot of young guys out here are just like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, man. We appreciate you. And we got to get you back, man. Look, I'm being like Scott, you know, McLuhan. I'm drafting you guys. You know, right? It's not, because that's how you do it. You get good people together, good things happen.
There you go.
Well, we appreciate it. Lake Lewis, Brian Mitchell on the Sideline Report.